Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. This meeting is held in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act 10:4-6 at SEEK. Annual notice having been forwarded to the New Jersey Herald and the New Jersey Sunday Herald and posted on the bulletin board maintained in the municipal building for public announcements. Would you please rise and join us in a salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
United States of America,
to the republic for which it
Republic
stands,
for which stands
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
visible,
indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
for all.
For all.
Before I ask the secretary to call the roll, I'll point out that Mr. Taylor is now sworn in as a Class 4 member because Mr. Gaffney has resigned. He's moving out of town. And Erica Vigliarolo is in for John Hrushke tonight. And although we can't enforce it thoroughly, we would ask that people who are going to testify either testify or ask a question. Anybody who is going to speak to the board, please be visible. In other words, we would rather not speak to people who just have some sort of a picture up there or anything else. So we ask that just out of courtesy. Would the secretary please call the roll?
Sure. Mr. Bongiovanni. Mr. Delarina. Mr. Duncan.
Yes.
Ms. Crock.
Judy? She's here.
Mr. Ray.
Here.
Here.
Mr. Rossi. Mr. Smith. Mr. Taylor.
Here.
Mr. Fanslow.
Here.
Councilman Schindler. Mayor Francis. Mr. Gilbert.
Here. Minutes. There are no minutes that have been distributed, so we will go right to continued applications. Anthony Cabrera, block 30208, lot 2.01, 21 Richards Road. This was continued because Mr. Cabrera wanted to have the property facing Richards Road, and there was a problem with that. Now it's going to be facing Bell Avenue. Is Mr. Cabrera here tonight?
Present.
And is anybody going to testify on your behalf, sir?
Yes, Richard Johnson.
I'm here. Unfortunately, I don't have visual. I'm going to be showing you my screen anyway. I apologize.
Please raise your right hands. Do you swear the testimony here, please? Mr. Cabrera, raise your right hand. Mr. Johnson, do you
My
swear the
hand's raised.
testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you are up.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, your license is still current. You were qualified as an engineer at the last hearing on May 16th, correct?
Yes. That is correct.
Okay.
Let me get my papers here. Okay. Mr. Cabrera, are you in receipt of the latest letter from McDonald?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and do you have any problem or any questions about it?
No, I don't.
Okay, then I will turn the meeting over to you, sir.
Okay. I assume you guys can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So as we discussed, as mentioned, I should say, we did relocate the driveway from Richards Road to Bell Avenue. Okay, we also reduced the size of the building footprint to meet the ordinance requirements. And we also tried to tighten up the limit of disturbance around the property. Okay, I know that there were some questions asked The house is going to be situated along the front of Bell Avenue with the driveway to Bell Avenue as discussed. The site is fairly level with gentle slopes to the north. This is the intent to leave approximately 30% of the lot undisturbed and to only remove vegetation and trees within the limit of disturbance shown. All right, that's the darker area. No additional landscaping is proposed at this time. The utilities will connect to existing mains within Bell Avenue. We have the water main located here, and we have the sewer over here.
Yeah, you're not, your exhibit isn't up.
It's not up?
No.
All right, 1 second.
That's better.
All right, sorry about that.
That's okay.
All right,
So
so
what you're showing us is a colorized version of your plot plan, right?
correct. It's called site rendering. It's dated today, 7/6/2023. It's page 1 of 1.
Okay, and that'll be exhibit A2.
All right, so as I was saying, 30% is going to be undisturbed, which is the lighter green area. The disturbed area, which is a little tighter, is the darker green area, obviously with the driveway and the house. We have utilities. The water main is located along Bell Avenue, and we have sewer located, I guess, at the intersection of Bell Avenue and Richards Road. The location of the mains were identified on the plans. Allocation for water and sewer will be sought from the borough. The impervious coverage for the site, as well as the building footprint, have been reduced to meet the requirements of the land use ordinance. Before we were over, now we were actually asking for slightly less for the building. And I want to say slightly less again for the impervious surface. Stormwater management will be implemented using seepage pits. Okay, it's the entire roof area will be collected. We have roof leaders around, will be collected and discharged into the seepage pits. Infiltration tests for the pits will be conducted when the contractor is on site, so there's some ease in digging the pits. Both testing and results will be coordinated with the borough engineer and his office. The remaining lot surface runoff will be conveyed over existing vegetation, which should promote continued seepage into the ground surface and absorption by the existing vegetation. Okay, any increase in runoff from the proposed improvements to the adjacent properties is not expected. All right, I did have a letter. All right, we had, if I scroll down to the variances, we are seeking a variance at this point. I know last time when we had submitted our information, this was not the case, but 242/38D2 minimum lot width, 145 feet is required, 100 feet is proposed. That I guess is in turn due to the orientation of the building facing Bell, where the 150 was previously provided in this direction. All right, technical review. Per the prior subdivision resolution, the following must be completed and verified. Approval to connect to the municipal water system. All right, the municipal water system connection approval will be sought upon approval of this application. The applicant must obtain sewer allocation from the borough. The applicant will seek sewer allocation from the borough upon approval of this application. The maximum impervious coverage, including both lots and the roadway, cannot exceed 1/4 acre. The proposed development will meet the definition of major development, and appropriate stormwater controls must be proposed. Stormwater management report showing compliance must be submitted. All right, stormwater management report will be provided showing a reduction at all points along the hydrograph as a result of the proposed seepage pits and the infiltration of the roof area. Per the prior resolution, the approval was conditioned upon adequate bond posting and a developer's agreement executed for off-site improvements, road utilities, etc. The approved subdivision plan notes that Richards Road will be constructed by the developer of lots 2.01 and 2.02. As such, the applicant is equally responsible for the construction of Richards Road for the development of lot 2.01. Should the applicant wish to be relieved of this condition, separate approval must be granted by the board to release the requirement from the pre-existing condition of approval. So right now
Are there
we're
any of
looking,
these, or, excuse me, are there any of the, Mr. Johnson, are there any of the conditions as you're reading through that you have a problem with or would not comply with?
well, this particular one, it's not that we have a problem with, we just need some direction on what is required from the board to grant the release from the pre-existing condition of approval. And is it something that has to be separate, or it could be part of this current hearing?
Well, why,
Which would-
why would we even want to grant you release?
Well, Al, I can answer that real quickly for you. They're no longer coming onto the property off of Richards Road, so there's gonna be no disturbance on Richards Road at all. They're going out onto Bell Ave, so I personally don't see a reason why he would have to make improvements to Richards Road. He's not even gonna use it. You know, he's not accessing his property from Richards Road
That's correct.
anymore. The original subdivision had it coming off of Richards Road.
Okay,
And both lots shared the development cost of Richards Road. Now, they're relieving that by coming out to Bell, but I don't know how that deals with the property in the back that now doesn't have that. They now have that burden all to themselves.
That's correct. They would have the burden at that point because they would, this applicant wouldn't be using Richards.
all right, well, let's go through the rest of this before we discuss that. Are there any, as Bill asked, are there any others that you have problem with?
There's one other one we're looking for a waiver from. I believe it was item 4. Says general note 24 indicates that landscaping is not proposed at this part of the project, and a natural border will be maintained. The limit of the natural border tree line should be clearly depicted on the plan. I mean, we are clearly defining the limit of disturbance. I'm not sure if there's anything additional that was being sought other than what is being provided.
Is there a natural border tree line?
The lot is full of trees, so we're gonna stake this line and only remove those trees.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not sure if surveying a whole bunch of trees would really be a benefit to us or you.
But usually we put trees back onto property instead of just deforesting the whole site, which just takes a good chunk of it out. We're asking usually that trees go back. Is that true?
Yeah, that's
Erica?
right. Yeah.
Erica, do you have any problem with what they're requesting?
So that comment was just more referring to having even just a line type showing it. It was unclear if there would be a cleared area for a lawn as well towards the rear, like maybe around the patio. We weren't sure if you were gonna bring the trees right up to that rear patio and along the side. So it would just clearly depict to us if you wanted like just a like straight border around the edge of the lot.
I mean, I mean, are you looking to just clear everything from, say, where you have the silt fence, from the silt fence in, everything else you're gonna leave natural? Is that,
That was the intent.
okay? Well, there's a lot of trees on that site, a lot of trees. So there'll still be plenty of trees from that silt fence back to the property line and, you know, I mean, that's pretty tight if you ask me. I mean, that's keeping a lot more trees than I would, but
I mean, we
Well-
could definitely sit down and go over it with the client and see if he's looking to extend it somewhat, if he wants to. Obviously, if we extend it, we would, you know, put that in with the final revised plans. If it is extended slightly for some grassed area in the back, but I believe he was looking for more of a natural look. But, you know, we could definitely have that discussion.
I think when you start taking that lot apart where that silt fence is, you're gonna need a lot more room than what those fences are showing at the boundaries of all the things you're putting in. For instance, seepage pits, the edge of the buildings. There's just, that's gonna be far more than what you're showing there. I guarantee it.
Hmm.
Not even a chance that it's gonna be that close.
Well, I have seen things built in tight areas, so,
Trust me, I've done it all my life, but
okay.
trees coming down.
I mean, typically you go, say, 20 feet around the house. I mean, you don't want any big trees within 20 feet of your house. I mean, that's.
Yeah, I mean,
not normal.
we can definitely expand the limit. That's not a problem.
Even 20 feet, even 20 feet is close when you get to some big trees.
Oh, I agree, but I mean, I would say a minimum of 20 feet. I wouldn't want one of those big oaks 10 feet off my house for sure.
No, they're dangerous.
Let me ask you a question. Is lot 2.02 sold yet?
It's being built currently.
That's what I thought. And what do they say about this developer's agreement to improve Richards Road?
Anthony, I defer to you.
As far as I know, Brian Chaplin was not looking to improve Richards Road at all. Initially, he was telling me that he wanted to speak with the mayor in regards to that, so that he can be relieved of his obligation to improve the road.
Mr. Mayor, have they spoken with you?
Nope.
Well, I
That
don't,
wasn't,
personally, I don't see any reason to relieve them of the burden.
it wasn't an option. It was part of the approval.
That's right.
So if he's
That
built,
approval, if it's this property, that approval was because they were coming in off of Richards Road. They're not coming in off Richards Road now, so they could be natural on that side. If I'm following.
You're right. You're right, Mayor. I agree. I mean, he's not going anywhere near Richards Road now. The whole site plan has changed from, listen, if he was coming in on Richards Road with his driveway stuff, then yeah, he's gonna have to improve that, but he's not touching Richards Road.
right, this applicant isn't, but the other one where the house is being built is.
Yeah, but they're not part of this application.
Bob, he doesn't have the option. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have the option to change it. He has to improve that road. This property had the option to come in off an improved street.
No, I get that. I just think what the other gentleman just said was that he really wants to keep it natural and not develop the road, which was part of the requirement.
That's another issue.
Yeah.
We'd like to keep everything natural, but unfortunately, that doesn't work that way.
May I ask, Erica, did John discuss this a little bit? Because we had some communications about maybe 2 weeks ago regarding this specific issue. And I was wondering if he maybe had mentioned something about his view on the releasing of that agreement.
Erica?
He did not discuss his view with me.
Cool.
The most we spoke about this was that the applicant would have to request a relief from this requirement from the board.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, this scenario would be if the front applicant was released, that would then put the whole burden on the person in the back. I suspect that's going to bring about some difficulties and some additional issues. I mean, in the past, if there was one lot at the end of a right of way that's not improved, commonly the developer would just ask to do a driveway standard access, because this is a little different because it was a fresh out of the box subdivision, and of course we're two lots there. So, but it's something that I do believe requires some careful consideration because it does dramatically impact people.
Does the portion of Richard Road that's shown on the exhibit that's up in front of us, does that have to be improved to get to the other lot?
I have not
Yes.
been there. I mean, Mr. Ray, I think has, but I believe that it's semi-paved into the brick house that's there, which is probably just about the beginning of the second lot. Is that correct, Bob?
Yeah, yeah. If you look at that, if you look at the plan, Bill, you see the gray area of Richards
Mhm.
Road. It's probably
That
paved.
exists.
Yeah, it's probably paved maybe 16 feet wide all the way down to the corner, the lower corner of this lot. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, to me, the other
Right.
lot could probably just extended the road a little bit and then his driveway. It basically comes to the beginning of his driveway, where the driveway goes into the adjacent lot. You can get two cars up and down Richards Road, one going one way and one going the other way. So, I mean, that's
Hmm.
paved already. I mean, the property line goes way back on those lots, way back into the lot, way more than you would think, you know, well, you could see it by looking at the drawing.
Unfortunately, that's the way the subdivision was granted based on them proposing to put the road in. They proposed it to make the subdivision legit. Now that we got the legit and got it approved, now we change the game plan. That's the wrong.
And the other builder didn't ask for any variances. So we really don't know what that other builder is into.
Oh, good portion of that site is cleared.
He didn't require any variances. So ultimately, you know, there was no need for him to come to the board. But I would anticipate him coming in and asking for that relief. And I'm not saying that it should be released. I'm just saying that it should be considered carefully because it could have some serious ramifications.
Well, they can make it a
Really-
common driveway like they did at the end of DuPont and take full responsibility for the maintenance and plowing of it, though that's not uncommon in our town.
Mr.
I don't
Haggerty,
know.
would,
I just don't
It
think
could
it
be a
has to be.
developer's agreement to developer's agreement to maintain that as a common driveway and relieve the town of any responsibility or request to make it a road or adopt it as a road.
Well, Bell is improved, so we don't have to do anything to Bell.
No.
And that's the exclusive access that this property is going to be used, the one that's before us tonight. I'm a little, I wish John was here. I'm just a little confused what his thought would be. I'd really welcome his input on this if he's got a concern on this.
See, Richards Road, Bill, is only gonna service that other lot. That's it. I mean, it's not going through, it's not, you know, I mean, it's
And how far does it have to be extended from where it is now?
not much at all. I mean, really, not much at all.
Well,
I mean,
then why would we saddle this applicant with it if he's not going to use it?
I agree with you. I mean, I agree. I mean, the original subdivision showed everything coming in off of Richards Road, so then, hey, you
Right.
have to make the improvements, but this applicant is not touching Richards Road. He has
Mhm.
nothing to do with it any longer.
It's an interesting quagmire.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the other lot could probably come in and maybe scale down the amount of improvements to Richards Road to make it work. You know, with the town engineer.
I'd like to hear from that person.
Yeah.
Will-
Yeah, I mean,
Perhaps,
50%
perhaps
of
that person will speak up when we open this to the public.
when the
We
subdivision took place,
we-
they talked about 50% being to the one lot, 50% of the improvement went to the other lot. Just because one now has changed it doesn't relieve that site, which we granted a site permission to build that there. Doesn't relieve them.
Yes, it does. It changes everything because each day the access from Bell Avenue, he has nothing to do with Richard Road. Richard Road could disappear, would not affect this particular application. Other applications have to sink or swim on their own merit, but not this one.
Yvonne, my thing is that like this applicant would have to improve 150 feet of Richards Road, and the house behind him would only have to do 30 feet to access his property. There's no requirement for him to go down. I mean, why would he improve that road any further than he had to? It goes nowhere.
Oh,
The road can be
ho-
closed. It would not affect this property.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully the neighbor is here. Maybe we could find that out. If not, if the board wants to hear from that neighbor, the applicant could be required to provide notice to that neighbor and say, this is what I'm proposing, and speak now or forever hold your peace, but
Anthony, have you
Let's
done
see
that?
if there's anything else that we need to be concerned with.
Can you repeat
Hmm.
that?
Did you have any conversations with the other owner about the driveway?
So I've spoken with Brian Chaplin in the past, and from what I understand, he was only going to provide access like right from the corner of my lot onto Richards Road, and he was looking to build out only like maybe 10 feet of road or so. From my understanding, back in March when we spoke initially on this, he said he was going to speak with the mayor. From what I'm hearing today, he still has not done that. But as far as I know, that was his intent, was to put the driveway right in the corner, by the rear of my lot and connect that way. That way he wouldn't really have to build out or improve Richards that much.
Well, is there anything else that the board is concerned with? No, seeing nothing, I will open this to the public. If anybody from the public would like to comment or question this application at all, please go to the bottom of your screen and in reactions, raise your hand. Mr. Johnson, please stop sharing your screen so that I can see if anybody wants to speak. Okay, if anybody would like to speak to question or comment about this application at all, please go to the bottom of the screen and in reactions, raise your hand. Amy, do you see anyone? I don't.
here's one.
Hi, this is Madeline O'Keefe. I don't know if you can hear me.
You're kind of breaking up. Can you repeat that?
Jerry, go ahead. Please raise your right hand. Can you be seen at all? You're muted. You're still muted, Sherry.
All right, I'm gonna try from my phone.
Okay, Bill.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And your full name, please.
It's Madeline Cherie O'Keefe, and I reside at 29 Little Chester Road.
Go ahead.
Okay, my concern is, I just got in the meeting and my concern is for the one building of the house and the property that they want to build a commercial. I don't know if that is the same one that you're talking about right now.
No,
We're talking, no, I don't think so.
No, it's not.
Okay, all right, then I have nothing on that. It's just the commercial and the one that wants to build the house.
Thank you very much. That will go up later.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Would anybody else from the public like to comment or question this application? Seeing no one, I will bring it back to the board. What is the pleasure of the board?
I would make a motion that we would approve the application listen, I'd rather see Richards Road remain trees than have it paved for really no reason. There's plenty of access to get to that property behind it. I mean, what's there is adequate, Bill, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, the rest of it's on the lower development, the guy that's developing the other site. That's my opinion.
I'll
Is there a
second it.
Second,
I'll second it.
Taylor. Okay,
All the terms and conditions in the technical report.
Yes, all terms in Mr. Rushke's report have to be met. Is that okay?
How do we want to address, though, that we get some information that it's followed up with the development of that road per the resolution, though?
That's not his problem, it's the other developers.
Well, one guy develops one guy develops other, but each site got a part of that assignment.
Well, the other
No, they
guy's
don't.
gonna need it, right? The other guy's gonna need a CO, so that's where the leverage is.
If the other individual needed to come to the board to ask for some sort of relief, would that require notice and an application, or is there some other mechanism?
Well, what we're required is that the road be improved. Now, the standard of approval, if the engineer can evaluate that, what's appropriate for the standard of improvement to the road. It's really driveway standard at this point, if it's only gonna serve one house, only one property.
Okay,
Yeah, but
so that wouldn't actually even have to come back to the board, because I'm sure he'd be happy with
The
that.
home run, it's a home run for him. He's not losing anything. He's paying less by reducing the requirement as to the driveway, I would think.
If Mr. Rushke concurs, yes.
Right.
I think we have a motion in a second.
we have a motion and a second. Amy? I'll call the roll.
I think she froze.
Amy, are you there? Okay, in that case, I will call the roll. Let's see, hold on a second here. Let's see. Okay. We have Mr. Bongiovanni is not here. Duncan,
yes,
Gaffney is not here. Ray,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
John Taylor,
Yes,
Bill is not here. Mayor Francis
Yes.
and myself, I vote no.
About the administrator, is this a,
It's
Oh,
Francis.
David,
yeah, I vote yes.
thank you. Okay,
Jeremy, did you call Anthony Bongiovanni? He's on.
Yes, I joined late. I wanted to ask, I'm actually away right now. I wanted to ask if you have enough members for the use variance coming up.
yes, we do.
Okay. I appreciate that. And I'm going to go. Thank you very much.
Okay, goodbye, Anthony.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so that one passed.
Hey, we'd like to thank the board.
You are.
Yeah,
very
Danielle
welcome.
lost
Yeah.
connection. Alan, Danielle lost connection. She's trying to get back on now.
Yes, I see that. That's why I called the roll. Okay, next we have American Red Crescent. Now, this is a vacant lot with a concrete pad and partially buried masonry wall. Applicant is proposing construction of a commercial building with one drive-through window, associated walkways and paved parking. The applicant is requesting preliminary major site approval with bulk variance relief. Is someone here representing American Red Crescent?
Yes, Daniel Bankendorf from the law firm of Askin and Hooker, representing American Red Crescent, and here on their behalf this evening is one of the owners of American Red Crescent, along with two experts for testimony.
Okay,
This
anybody?
is the
who's
first
gonna be
hearing, right?
That's correct, yes. We,
Okay, great.
it was going to be heard, but we received the engineer's report days before that. There were a lot of questions. And so we went back to the drawing board, we made a lot of revisions, and now here we are. So if you'd like, I can proceed.
Well, let's get people sworn in first.
Understood.
Mr. Bankendorf, who are your witnesses?
Yep. So the plan engineer is Mr. Rangwala. The architect is Mr. Lacunares. And the individual from American Red Crescent is Kaiser Bathan.
Okay. Please raise your right hands, everyone who's going to testify. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do.
We'll start with
Yes,
the
I
engineer.
do.
Okay, thank you. Start with the engineer. Your full name, please, sir.
Ali Asghar Rangwala.
And you are a licensed engineer in the state of New Jersey?
Yes, I am.
Have you testified before land use boards in the past?
I'm sorry, what's the question again?
Okay, have you testified before land use boards previously?
No, I've not.
Okay, this is the first time. Okay, all right. And who is the architect? And your full name?
Marios Lacanaris, Lacanaris. I'm a licensed architect since 1993, and I testify in numerous boards in Beckett County mostly.
And how do you spell your first name, sir?
Marios, Marios.
Just like it sounds. Okay. And
Is
your
there-
last witness, Mr. Beckendorf?
Yep, Kaiser Bathan of American Red Crescent.
I'm here.
And spell your last name, Mr. Kaiser.
Passan,
P-A-T-H-A-N.
P-A-T-H-A-N.
Got it. And are you a member of the corporation,
That's correct.
an officer, president, or
Yes,
vice president?
yes,
President?
president.
President. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Is there any objection by the board of accepting Mr. Rangwala or the other gentlemen as expert witnesses?
No.
Okay, then we will continue. Go ahead, Mr. Bankendorf.
Ladies and gentlemen, the property we're here this evening to discuss is 402 River Styx Road, block 3315, lot 2. It's a vacant lot comprised of 13,867 square feet in the B1 retail business zone. It is an oddly shaped lot. Applicant is before the board this evening seeking site plan approval for convenience type store, although we don't know exactly what the use is going to be yet, with drive-through capability. The applicant requires variance relief of 3 types: lot area, lot width, lot coverage. Mr. Rangwala will go through those with the board in depth so that you'll have opportunity to address that. And so, Mr. Rangwala, if you wouldn't mind bringing up the plans and going over them briefly with the board before we begin to address Mr. Rushke's report.
Sure, I'll share my screen. Okay, can you all see the plans?
We see that, yes. Zoning requirements, there we go.
Yes, so basically, as Dan mentioned, we're requesting 3 variants. The lot the lot area requires 14,000. There's an existing non-conformity. It's 13,867, and that is what is proposed. The lot width required is 115. Existing is 75, and that's what we are proposing. It's an existing non-conformity. On Also, the lot coverage required is 65%. We are, existing is 4.6%, and we are proposing 66.6%. And then there's another variance or waiver that we would require is for the size of the parking spots. That's
Right,
correct?
Yeah, that would be a
Okay.
waiver, I believe, not a variance.
Not a variance, okay. All right, so those
for
are the three
size?
variances we are seeking.
All right, now I wanted to, I just, if you would, do you want to show the lot, where the cars are going to come in, how they're going to proceed around the building, how they're going to exit, why we went with a drive-through, as opposed to just a simple convenience store? You know, a couple of those purposes, maybe where you put the garbage can, or alternatively, if you want to go through Mr. Rushke's report, it basically addresses that.
Well, let's go through Mr. Rush's report.
All right,
Starting
Mr.
with how-
Rangwala, do you want to bring up that report?
Starting with how the building is going to be used. Number of employees, et cetera, et cetera.
Certainly.
Ken, you wanna respond to that?
I can't, Mr. Rangwala, I can't provide testimony with respect to that. That's why I think it might be good if you show where the cars come in, how the cars proceed around the building, and how they exit.
We'd like to know what the operation of the building is going to be, so that we can consider how many parking spaces are required, et cetera.
Okay, so basically, we are proposing access from River Styx Road. The cars are gonna come in from on the right side of the building, going around the building and exiting from the left side and back onto River Styx Road.
Where is the window going to be?
So I don't think we have a final architectural plans, but Mario, do you know where the window would be?
Yeah, the window is along the left building side.
And is there room
Left side?
to get two
Yeah, I'm
cars?
gonna show that on my presentation.
Okay, so we'll wait for that part. All right, Mr. Rangwala, where are the utilities coming from?
Okay, so we have the overhead electric coming from the pole on Little Chester Street. We have the sanitary sewer coming from the rear, the sewer main on the rear side of the property. The survey did not locate the water line, but I believe it is along Little Chester Street, and so the water line would be coming in from that side as well. And additionally, we are proposing stormwater management system that will be tied into the manhole on Little Chester Street as well.
Okay, and do you want to go over the parking that we currently have laid out on the plans?
Okay, so we have 4 spots laid out on the, on this side of this property along Little Chester Street, and then 3 spots near the building frontage, including 1 handicap parking.
And are any of those spots EV spots?
There is 1 spot where we are proposing to be an EV spot, which is number 5 right here in front of the building.
Okay,
And how big are
and
those spots?
where do you intend the dumpster enclosure to be?
That would be right on the walkway, along the building.
Okay. And do you believe that this qualifies under the C1 variance relief standard for exceptional narrowness, shallowness, and shape of the property?
I do believe that, yes.
Okay, and in this particular case, so it's the shape and size of the property that uniquely affects the applicant's property, is that correct?
I'm sorry, what's the question again?
That it is the shape and size of the property. It uniquely affects the property, correct?
I'm not sure if I understand the question.
The fact that the lot is so small makes it difficult to operate a commercial property in the B1 zone. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, and so because it's undersized and it's a commercial property, you tried to use the best use of space that you could. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct, yes.
Okay, and under the C2 benefits for the variance relief, they significantly outweigh the detriment for the purpose of convenience in that area on River Styx Road. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, and do you believe it promotes sections A, E, G, and I of the municipal land use law?
Yes, I do believe that. It does.
All right, and Mr. Marios, if you want to go through the architecturals, that would be great now.
Okay. My presentation consists of one page dated 7/9/2022. On the left side of the page.
Marios, wait, before you go, did you color this for this presentation this evening, or were the ones you submitted to the board colored?
The one that I submitted to the board is black and white. My yellow color appears on a black and white as a gray area.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is maybe label this as A1. Okay, and what sheet is that?
It's only one page.
Okay, but it's something that you submitted to the board previously that is now colorized,
Right.
correct?
Yes.
What number sheet? It's just one page.
1 of 1.
architectural. Okay,
1 of 1.
got it.
Okay, as I mentioned, on the left side of the page, I depicted the floor plan of the proposed retail store. And I'm gonna go roughly the size of the store. It's about 1,937 square feet. It's 37 feet and 4 inches in width, and it's 52 and 4 inches in length. We provided a walkway in the front that separates the parking stalls from the front entrances. The walkway measures 5 feet in depth. Since we don't know what the use of the retail space will be, I provided 2 entrances in case there is a need for a smaller store to subdivide it or to have only one tenant. We provided at this time 1 handicap lavatory, and we also have a utility room on the rear left corner, since most of the utilities are coming along the side street. There was a question regarding the drive-through window, and this is noted the location where I point my cursor. It's set back maybe about 10 feet from the front left corner.
Is there any intention that there's going to be an order station?
The order station is gonna be on the right side of the building and is noted about 10 feet from the rear right corner of the building. As is shown, I clipped both angles of the building in order to provide better access for the cars driving around the building. As the engineer noted earlier, we have 3 parking spaces right in front of the building. One is the handicap parking noted at this location, and there is an aisle, an access way to the covered walkway. I will show the elevations of this building. All the way at the top is the front elevation. We provided a sloped roof. And in the front, as you see, we provided some brick, and the rest of it is storefront windows with 2 sets of entrances. We provided an area for signage.
Is there going to be signage out by the road? Maybe Mr. Ringwala could also testify to that.
Okay.
Yes, there will be a building sign in front, in the front lawn.
Okay, we'll have to look at that after we're done here. Go ahead.
Okay. The materials that will be used for this particular store, as I noted earlier, in the front is going to be brick veneer, some stucco area above the storefront windows, and then the roof finish will be a standard asphalt shingles roofing. Right below the building, the height of the building inside is going to be about 12 feet. In order to accommodate any drop ductwork or any beams that are required for the construction of this building. The total height of the building is approximately 19 feet, and we are in compliance with the code requirement. The second picture depicts the rear elevation. The whole area will be finished with stucco. Then moving to the right side elevation, it shows, starting from the left side, it shows the column supporting the covered roof, the roof over the covered walkway. Then I have a storefront window, and adjacent to that, I have the order station. Moving to the next picture, that's the left side elevation. It's almost identical with the right side elevation, with the exception that I provided two entrance, an entrance for the utility room, and then one access, a secondary entrance for the use by the occupants. I have, in addition to this, we provided a rendering. Let me see, where is my rendering? Okay, so this gives us an idea how this building will look like. As I mentioned earlier, we have the 3 parkings in the front, the cover walkway, and we can see the two sets of entrances and the storefront windows. On the left side, we can see a little bit of the drive-through window. And as the engineer mentioned, the entrance to the drive-through is on the right side, and a customer drives around the building, gives the order, drives along the rear of the property, and then comes out from the left side. This concludes my presentation.
Mr. Angwala, do you want to go back to your plans and show where the signs are going to be located?
Sure. Marius, you want to stop sharing?
Yes. Let me see how do I do that? Stop sharing. Okay.
Okay, so we're proposing for the building sign towards the south corner of the property, right, the intersection of River Six Road and Leicester Street. That's the proposed sign shown on the plans.
Do we have a picture of the sign?
I have a standard detail. I wasn't sure exactly what size the sign would be. So as requested by the township engineer, we provided a construction detail for the sign that covers, whatever size we decide to go with.
Okay, all right, so any approval of a sign, you likely have to go back before the, at least the township with a copy of what the sign's gonna look like, is that correct?
That is correct.
How would it be illuminated?
I'm sorry.
How would the sign be lit?
Right now, we have a, let's see, let me go back to the. So we have we are showing an electrical conduit coming towards the street light. We haven't shown the sign to be a lit sign, but if that is the requirement, we can continue the conduit up to the proposed sign.
No, we're just asking whether it's going to be internally lit, whether it's going to be a reflective light, or what it's going to be.
It's supposed to be a reflective light.
The sign, it appears to me the signs maybe set back 5 feet from the front property line, which would require variance if I'm reading this properly.
It's within the right of way. Is that the question?
It's
inside
the
the
ordinance
property.
is, it's 10, you need a 10-foot setback for a sign from the front property line.
Understood. We can comply with the ordinance. We'll move the sign.
So any condition of approval will come with the removal of the sign back within the guides.
Might I ask, I believe the ordinance requires a loading area, and of course, if we're not providing one, it would be another variance. Has any thought, I mean, actually, more importantly is how this building will be serviced with the trucks, and will they have, easy access in and out?
And dumpsters.
Yeah.
Well, the
Yeah, so we have a-
dumpster's actually out in the front.
Dumpsters on River
Right.
Styx there,
Right.
right on the county road.
Mr. Renwalla, do you want to address both of those issues?
Right, on the right side here, we're showing a standard garbage truck coming in to the property with its rear facing the dumpster. And then it's basically backing up, going back into River Styx Road, and then, basically continuing on.
Eric, is that a good idea?
Not really.
I'd like to hear from the county engineers on this whole access and ingress and egress.
I'd like
to
to
it,
know what
because,
the property is going to be used for.
the county engineer might have something to say about the cut of them angle, the placement of a sign, and the strategy you can use to get trucks in and out, and what size trucks. That's not a borough function. That's a county function. So the county engineers have say on that. We couldn't approve if we wanted to.
And what about the parking spaces? How do we know how many parking spaces are going to be required?
We don't know 1 unit or 2. We don't know what they're gonna be.
We don't know what the property is going to be used for, the operation of the building, how it's going to be used, number of employees, expected number of patrons, hours of operation, et cetera, et cetera.
So we have a we have parking calculations on the cover sheet on the bottom. As per, the retail area, we're calculating 8 cars required. And with the EV charging station credit, we get 1 credit for 1 space, which brings down to required number of spaces to 7 spaces, which is what we're providing.
Also, the applicant, and I'd like to talk to my client about it maybe in a little bit further detail. Mr. Pathan, are you all right with there being only 1 tenant in the building based on the parking calculations and based on the size of the lot?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so no matter what, any condition of approval would include 1 tenant, correct?
I still want to know what the tenant is. What's
Is
the,
it a
what's
McDonald's? Is it a
Sure.
convenience store? What is it?
So right now, it could be a bagel store, it could be right now it's very difficult to anticipate. This will be the preliminary to find out what the tenant will be able to occupy this space. So the original intent was to have a convenience store with a drive-through. The reason was the drive-through was during the pandemic. The problem was that, the stores, that was one of the reasons for the drive-through. We looked at other options and they were a lot more, basically a lot more square footage. But so we reduced it down, and it could be an ice cream store. We don't know yet. And it's gonna be, retail is driven by the tenant, and that they call the shot. So once they see the footprint, they see the site plan, they'll tell us, maybe, they want to reduce the building. I don't know yet. This is once they give us an idea, they like the location, or it could be a Dunkin'. Right now, Dunkin', coffee shop stores are going smaller. It could be like Dan was saying, a bagel store, ice cream, convenience store, that's all. And it's going to be operate during normal business hours. It's not gonna be 24-hour business. So I think max probably, if you had to give me hours, I would say 5 to 11 would be the max operation for the hours. Employees in a store this size, max you need 2. That's it.
Just curious, but have you ever seen the lines at Cliffs and how that would work here with a small site like this with parking and people, traffic? Just curious.
Well, that's
ice cream store, but that in itself right there is just a no-go. It just will not work there with.
Yeah, no, so that's why I'm saying that we are going to propose this. We don't know what the tenant would require. And that was one of the reasons for the drive-through, is that we don't want people standing there. We want them to come, grab their soda, grab their smokes, and go home. That was it. It was to reduce the time they spent in the store.
But you're still gonna have to get in and out of there with a vehicle, delivery trucks and service trucks. And you have not addressed that with the county engineers. Now, I would suggest very strongly that would be a driving force on some of the decisions you make with the business.
Yeah, this may be one of those applications where that should be your first stop, because the site is very slightly undersized, whatever, it almost meets the zone standard. But because of the importance of access truck movements from the county road, that may really be where your focus should be, because they'll drive the rest of your design.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The ingress and egress off of County Road is really not as simple as you might think it is. But they'll look at site triangles, they'll look at site distances, they'll look at stopping distances. There's a lot that goes into the side of that. And on that section of the road, the cars don't go real slow.
No.
Not only that, if you have 5 cars in there, you're almost out on river sticks if they're waiting to place the order. From the order point out, from the elevation shown, 5 cars will put the car T-bone right into the middle of southbound.
And if you're gonna have 2 employees there, they're gonna take up 2 of those spots, the parking spots. So now you're down to, 5 spots.
And one's handicapped.
Yep.
And one's EV.
Wouldn't we need county approval before we could even vote on this?
Yes.
I would go to the county first and get their input because they may have a lot more requirements than what's on this drawing.
They
Mr.
do.
Bankendorf,
Yeah,
what's your
I think,
thought
I
about
think
that?
that would be fine. Well, we can proceed to the county first and get their thoughts. They might have a good idea of how better to use the property instead of taking a vote this evening.
I think you also,
Okay, do you want to ask for a continuance?
I think you also
Okay.
need with the use, what the building is gonna be, because I think that has a big play in the whole functionality of the site.
I'd like to speak with my client about that. I mean, maybe that's something that we can talk about in further detail. You know, it was just because we didn't know what was going to be approved. We didn't know what to advertise as far as lot or building availability. So it's a catch-22. It was tough for us to make that determination, but based on what we're hearing at this meeting, I think it's very beneficial, and I think a continuance is appropriate so that we have time to go to the county, so that we have time to look into tenants and come back to the board with a little bit more detail about that.
Do you want to ask for a
That sounds
continuance?
like a good idea to me.
I do.
And how long would you like?
I think it'd be appropriate to request 3 months.
Okay. Somebody want to make a motion that we?
Well, yeah,
continue this
would
for
there be
3
anybody
months?
from the public that might want to address this? So, Mr. Gilbert, I think because
Well-
we've had testimony, I hate to defer for 3 months for,
Okay, well, let's see. Anybody from the public want to
Stop
stop
sharing the
sharing your
screen.
please?
Yes, can we, thank you.
Anybody from the public want to comment on this? Go to the bottom of your screen and on the
It looks
reaction, raise your
Nick
hand, Mr.
Knight.
Knight.
You're muted.
Yeah, I would like to comment.
Okay,
Mr.
raise your
Mr.
right
Knight,
hand, please.
please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. So I have a number of comments, concerns. I live on Little Chester Road, and just like precedents from the past that I've kind of dug up that would, I mean, essentially nullify, in my opinion, that even the drive-through there. I know in the past, Little Chester Road used to go right into River Styx Road, so that in and of itself, is the driveway that they're proposing is literally right next to that. So that's one of the points that I wanted to bring up, and I was curious what the board's thoughts were on that. I know my neighbor, the adjacent lot, tried to request a permit for a drive-through onto River Styx Road, which is right next to that lot as well. That was rejected in the past. And there's a number of other comments I want to bring up. I'm not going to go through them all if we're going to be deferring for 3 months, but for example, the
Well,
delivery.
yeah, there may be an entirely new design, probably will be, based upon the county review. So what you may say tonight may not have great relevance in terms of what ultimately is presented to the board.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely fair. But the delivery trucks going in, I mean, if they have to back into River Styx Road, that's a busy street in and of itself. So that I see as a concern. The other concern would be the parking. I could see people parking on Little Chester Road, the residential roads that are behind the proposed commercial building, because there's only 3, I mean, really 4 spots. I mean, they said 2 employees, but I can't imagine only 2 employees working at that location. A number of other things I won't kind of run through, but also I know kids wait for the school bus right on that street as well, literally right on that corner. So that's another concern as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr.
Yep.
Knight. Next is Cherie.
Hi, this is Madeline Keefe. So
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
The truth, I agree.
Okay, and your last name again. You appeared in a prior application. What's your last name?
it's O'Keefe. Parents are Peter and Adlin Donahue. They've been here since 1978.
You're breaking up.
Oh, can you hear me?
Well,
Does
I can
she
hear
have
you,
her
but we
phone
can't
on and the
understand.
computer? I think that's the problem.
Yeah, she's on two devices. I tried to mute the one.
Okay.
Now try.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so my concern is that,
Nope, you're still breaking up.
can you hear me?
No,
You got-
two devices.
You either have to come off your computer or off the phone.
I have you as muted now.
Or just walk into the other room with the phone and you can leave your computer on.
Great
Right.
idea.
She's muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so my parents have lived here since 1978. I reside here with them. My concern is we live right next door to that property. That means you're gonna have people hanging around. It's gonna be loud. It's been a nice quiet area. And now we're gonna have to look at this eyesore of a building which doesn't even fit in the area. You have on River Styx Road, an abandoned flower shop. You have an office building that has been sitting there and nothing has been done with it. We already have a Quick Check. We already have E&T Deli. I mean, we have a Dunkin' Donuts. We have a Quick Check. I mean, what other convenience store do we need? We don't need a bagel store.
Well, do you have anything else to say, Cherie?
No, I'm saying it's an eyesore, and plus now it lowers our property level, our property value on the home.
Well, it is a commercial area.
But it hasn't been like that for over 40 years. There's nothing in there, and that slab in there is so small. So you're looking at a bigger piece of property, because I can't even imagine how you would even do that, because it's not that big. So you're talking bigger, and that property is not that big.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, ask them if they're gonna plan on opening Little Chester Road. You want to say get in.
You know, so you're gonna open up Little Chester Road for it to go all the way out?
No,
Oh,
we're not
no,
doing
no.
anything.
No.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
but you know, if the guy wants to have, you know, a property, a commercial building, put it next to his property, but you're ruining all the other houses on this block. It's not in an area where it's situated for a commercial. It's gonna be another empty building like we all have. I mean, we have one in Quick Check, or what the old Quick Check was. There's still nothing in there.
Okay. Anything else?
Ask him if there's gonna be entrance to his store from Little Chester Road.
Is there gonna be entrance to the store from Little Chester Road?
There's
Well,
none
according to
proposed
the
on the
drawing-
drawing.
Not
Nothing
according
was
to the
proposed.
drawings, it'd be from River
Because
Styx.
if it
Road.
is, that's gonna make more traffic.
A lot of kids playing the streets.
And we have kids that play on the streets here.
No access from Little Chester on these drawings.
No access. No access. All right, and are we gonna get notice in 3 months for the meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you very much. Emily, you're next.
Hi, how are you?
Raise your right hand.
You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes,
And your full name.
Emily Osborne.
Okay.
So I actually live at 28 Little Chester, directly across from the lot. I definitely think it brings up a lot of concerns. A lot have been mentioned. Some, like you said, might not be relevant right now because we don't exactly know what's gonna come of the lot. However, I feel that, I mean, what the last woman just said, we have Quick Checks, we have the deli, we have a Dunkin' Donuts literally right down the road. I just can't imagine needing a drive-through in such a small lot like that. like I could look at the lot right now. It's just such an odd shape and so small. And I think the main concern is that it goes directly onto River Styx. When I leave for work in the morning, it's, you know, I have to wait. People fly around that corner constantly. Kids are standing there. It's not safe. People are either going to have to park on our road, Little Chester, or across the street on the side of the road and then try to cross the street to get there. Or you have the drive-through with people hanging, you know, like somebody said, the gentleman said, you're going to have only 4 or 5 cars. You're going to be sticking out into the street, causing traffic on that busy road. Not to mention if it's a drive-through, that's just going to accumulate to a lot of trash. People are just going to be throwing trash out the window, whatnot, and just leaving, a lot of loitering. And like the last woman said, it's a very, it butts up to a ton of houses. It's an eyesore for us. It's literally, I'll walk out my front door and see this building. People walk their kids and dogs up the street, strollers, bikes. It's just definitely a safety concern with all the traffic and noise it would bring. And if he's saying it could be open till 11 o'clock, like you just don't know what that would bring to the neighborhood. And I just don't think that this is the spot for that, because there are so many vacant buildings that you could bring new business to. And I just don't, I think this lot definitely would not be suited for a drive-through of all things. So that's just my point.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else? Would anybody else from the public like to comment or question this application? If so, please go to the bottom of your screen and reactions, raise your hand. Dylan, you're up. You're muted.
Hey, can you hear me?
Please raise your right hand.
Yes, please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And your full name,
Dylan Labasor,
spell your last name. please.
LA, B as in boy, OU, SEUR.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. So yeah, I mean, I had more questions, but I don't think I'll be able to get to them with the information that was given. But I just wanted to kind of state that I share the same sentiment as the past couple of individuals. So, but I guess most of my questions are going to wait until 3 months from now. So,
okay.
Okay, thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Would anybody else from the public like to comment or question this application? If so, please go to the bottom of your screen and reactions, raise your hand. Seeing none, I will bring it back to the board. Would somebody from the board like to make a motion to continue this application for 3 months with notice?
I'll make that motion.
Let's, why don't, what do we now?
Go ahead.
Why don't we make it October 17th?
Okay.
Just so the people on the screen know what we're doing, if that's okay with Mr. Benkendorf.
Certainly.
And
I'll
if that's
second it.
okay with Amy also,
Yes, that's good. And we're doing it with notice?
with
Yes.
notice.
Okay.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Amy?
Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Ms. Crock,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Fanslow,
Yes.
Mayor Francis,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Next, we have Ibrahim Aladli, and we've gotten notification from him that he would like this to be continued until October. So let's pick a date, 17th again, Danielle? Or
Yes,
Amy?
that's fine. Yes.
Okay. Does somebody want to make a motion to continue this one until October 18th with
17th.
notice?
17th.
I'll make that motion.
17th with notice. Mhm.
Yes.
17th, yes.
I'll second it.
Okay, Amy?
Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Ms. Crock,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Fanslow,
Yes.
Mayor Francis,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert.
Yes. New applications, IAT Reinsurance Company Limited, block 50002, lot 7, 20270 Stanhope Road. The applicant would like to amend a site plan submitted for reconsideration of existing cabin as well as installation of solar panels above 2 existing on-site structures noted as pavilion and caretaker's house on the site plan.
Mr. Chairman, this looks like a D variance.
is.
I'll recuse myself.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Do we still have enough people to consider this? I believe we do.
We need 5.
Yes,
Yes,
we're
we do.
okay.
Okay,
All right, is there somebody here representing IAT Reinsurance Company
Good
Limited?
evening, ladies and gentlemen. Daniel Bankendorf from Askin and Hooker, representing the applicant, IAT Reinsurance, also known as Hudson Farm. And appearing on their behalf this evening is a Mr. John Wunderlich. Additionally, our engineer is appearing this evening, John Hanson. You want to swear
Okay,
them
you
in,
want to
Mr.
get them
Haggerty?
sworn in, please?
yes. Please, your witnesses, please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Okay, first, Mr. Hanson, you are a licensed engineer in the state of New Jersey.
I am. Yeah, last name Hansen. Business address 140 West Main Street, High Bridge, New Jersey. I'm a licensed engineer and licensed planner. Both licenses are in good standing, and I'll be testifying as both tonight.
All right, and you've testified a number of times before this board.
I have, and specifically on this project or this property, probably a dozen times over the last 18 years or so.
And Mr. Wunderlich, what's your affiliation? You're the
Property
site
manager.
Property manager. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we're here this evening to discuss 270 Stanhope Sparta Road, a block 50002, lot 7. The lot is comprised of 406 acres in the R3. That's the single family residential zone. The purpose this evening, applicant is before the board seeking to amend an approved site plan to include the reconstruction of an existing cabin with the same exact footprint. That variance actually require, or excuse me, that amendment actually requires the D variances. Additionally, and the chairman had 2 of the buildings that we were going to be adding solar panels, but there was a 3rd building that we're going to be adding solar panels to. So the first one is the caretaker's cottage. The second one is the pavilion. And the 3rd one is the pro shop. And then finally, adjacent the pro shop, there's a concrete pad. On the concrete pad, generally they put their garbage. They've had problems with bears in recent times, so they're hoping to enclose that concrete pad, not increasing any of the impervious coverage, secure the garbage, and provide for a little bit more storage for the pro shop. And then with respect to tearing down the building and putting up a new one in the same footprint, the 2 use variances that are required is one, that they're reconstructing the cottage, which is although the cottage is a permitted use in the zone, because there are other principal structures in that zone, it would require a use variance. And then additionally, the reconstruction of a non-conforming use, because there are other uses, would require a use variance too. So we're actually coming before the board with 2 use variances, but I believe that Mr. Hanson will be able to provide testimony and address both at the same time, so we won't have to go through that testimony. Mr. Hanson, if you wouldn't mind maybe bringing up the plans and going over essentially what the amendments are, where the solar panels are, where the enclosure will be, and certainly going over the reconstruction of the house.
Yes, will do. Give me a second here and I'll pull up the plan. Okay, can everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay. This is sheet 2 of 4. This is the plans that were filed with the application, and the last revision date on these plans is revision 1. dated June 1st of this year. So as our counselor said, teed up for us here, it's a fairly straightforward application. I chose sheet 2 here to explain the areas of the property that the improvements are going to be proposed on. So what you see here is what we call like the developed portion of Hudson Farm. To the left is Sparta Stanhope Road. To the bottom is the driveway that comes in. And then you have the various structures here that make up the farm. That's the clubhouse is in this general area here. I'm pointing to the left center of the page. We have the pro shop, which is on the, I'll call it the east side of this long dashed box. And then we have the cabin that we'll be discussing, which is in this dashed area at the top of the page. So north is to the left, east is to the top, and again, the roadway here is out to the left or the north. So our focus is very simple. The cabin that's in the location here to the east of the site, this is an existing structure that's been there for many, many years. It's in disrepair. They evaluated the structure to see if it could be repaired instead of replaced, and it was determined that it just didn't make sense to do that. So we have shown that the existing footprint will remain the same. Charlie Schaefer, the local architect, has prepared a cabin design of exactly the same footprint and compatible architecture with the rest of the facility. And so our proposal is to construct that in this area. There was a comment in the board engineer's report as to whether or not it's in a state regulated area and if it meets any of the permit requirements. And the answer is yes, it is in a riparian zone because of the stream that comes through there. It's an existing condition though, and removal of the cabin and construction of the new cabin at the same elevation in the same location qualifies for a permit by rule number 3. So permit by rule number 3, it's just a notification. There is no actual permit application and receipt of permit for a situation like that. So that's the cabin. And then I'm going to switch to the next page here and show you on sheet 3 what we're proposing to do with the reflective solar panels and the very small addition to the clubhouse.
I think I misspoke. I think I said it was to the pro shop. I meant the clubhouse.
Correct. So what we have here on the inset A, to the right is the pro shop where I have the cursor here. Next to the south of the pro shop is the pavilion. We also call that the event center. To the southwest of that is one of the single family homes, which we call the caretaker's cottage. And each of those structures is already constructed, all completed. And what we're asking for very simply in this application is to construct rooftop solar panels on each of those structures. And then to the south, in this area here, the bottom left of the page, that's the clubhouse. And so the shaded area that you see here is the footprint of what we're planning to enclose. And I'd like to bring up another exhibit, which is a Google aerial that better shows that location. Okay, so you should be able to see, this is the latest Google aerial, copyright 2023. So
This is the F1, A1.
Well, yeah, let's
A1.
call this A1, please.
Okay.
So what you're seeing here is the plan view of the clubhouse, its current condition, and the area that is, I'll call it to the top right of the footprint of the structure. That is the area that currently now is a concrete pad. It's enclosed with a fence, and the whiter detail right here is the outdoor refrigeration unit. So the idea is to essentially, in the same footprint, no increase in footprint, but enclose this instead of with a fence, a permanent wall, and a roofed area so that that's all contained. It's safe from the weather, and it's free from allowing, you know, debris and so forth to blow around. So that's really our application in a nutshell. Right.
And what would you do with that area, Mr. Hanson, when you put wall and a roof over that? What would that be used for?
It's going to be used for the same stuff. It's going to be storage, and it's going to also be the refrigeration unit. So it's not going to be an increase in the intensity or a new room or a new, you know, component of the facility. It's simply meant there to enclose what now is not enclosed.
Okay.
Dry storage as well as what services are there now.
Correct.
And what about the dumpster enclosure that he said was getting attacked by bears?
Maybe Mr. Wonderly would be better equipped to answer that. I haven't had the bear experience, so I just don't know.
I mean, that's what I thought he said.
So we have a dumpster pickup at the front of the property. The area that's behind there has an area for recycling short-term garbage, you know, during the day that then gets transferred down to the main dumpster in the front. It is fenced with a, you know, fence currently. During the summertime, there have been times where the bear just will either smash the fence or climb over the fence. And that's even with the garbage being taken at the end of the day to the main dumpster at the front, which is bear proof. So.
So
Is that on the pad that we were looking at here where the cursor is, or?
That's correct.
Okay, all right.
So I'll pull up one more exhibit just to show you. So this is Gary. This is you could call this was filed with the application.
Oh, was, okay.
Yeah, this is the first floor. This is the addition of the structure. So it's just the architecture's drawing. So it's approximately 595 square feet, and it's this area here where I'm showing the cursor. So this is the outdoor refrigeration, the walk-in box, and then this is the storage here in this area here. So.
Does that currently have the air units in there? Does that have condenser units on the outside there?
I don't know.
There are older air conditioner units back there. We have a plan, if this is approved, to consolidate the number of air conditioning units, modernize them to smaller units, and they actually will sit right on the roof of that structure. The way the building is situated right now, the area that the AC units are in also collects a ton of leaves, which collect around the AC units. So it's a maintenance issue as well for us.
Okay. So if there's no further questions, I could address the engineer's report, which is dated May 3rd of 2023.
Sure.
This is a letter from Mont McDonald, signed by John Rushkey, and there's a number of comments in here. Under the technical review section, which starts on page 2, the first comment is under the cabin and solar panels. It says the site plan should be revised to include the proposed first floor, basement floor, and roof peak elevations of the cabin to be reconstructed. There's a right side staircase and a left side Bilco door that should also be shown, along with any proposed walkways associated with these points of entry. So we will comply with that. No issue there. We'll amend the plans as a condition of any approval. And number 2 is a rating associated with the cabin rebuild referenced on the actual plan elevations should be detailed on the plan with the proposed contours provided and the limits delineated. We don't believe there's really too much grading, but we will make both the site plan and the architectural plans consistent, again, as a condition of approval. Number 3 talks about the DEP permit and the applicable flood hazard area regulations, which I already testified. This project will meet the permit by rule requirements, so no further application to DEP is required. And we'll note that on the plans and explain that to Mr. Rushke's office. And then finally, there are 6 comments here that deal with stormwater management. And so as a condition of approval, we have designed kind of a cleanup of compliance on the site with respect to stormwater management. So we'll comply with all of these issues and also get our DEP approval that we need for the stormwater management. So no issue there.
Okay, Erica, do you have any comments?
No, I have no additional comments.
Thank you.
So then just to tie this up, I think we should provide the variance testimony. I know you folks have heard me many times over the years with this, so I'll keep it brief and to the point. This is in the R3 zone. It's a very unique property, as you know. It's got 3 principal uses: the single family homes, the club use, and of course there's agriculture on the property as well. And so because of that, and because there's several principal structures, it's an existing non-conforming use situation. So even by replacing one of the structures in its same footprint with the same style, et cetera, does require a D variance. And so in this case, it would be a D1 variance. And you've heard in the past, and I'll say it again, this is the positive criteria is a 2-pronged approach. We have to show, and the board needs to find, that there's special reasons that exist to grant the variance and that the site's particularly suited for the use. And then finally, there's a 3-pronged negative criteria, and the board finds that it's not a substantial detriment to the zone plan or the zoning ordinance, and that there's no substantial detriment to the public good. And so in this case, with respect to the positive criteria, the site is particularly suited for this use. It's existed as such for many, many years, and especially with the dwelling in this particular location. It functions very well. The dwelling itself is separate and apart from the facility and the club use part of it. And again, it's existed that way for many years, and it has sufficient space and adequate separation and adequate light, air, and open space. With regard to special reasons, Purpose A would be advanced if the application's approved. Purpose A is the courts have identified that it most clearly amplifies the meaning of special reasons, and Purpose A is really to promote the general welfare and safety. And by upgrading this cabin to a modern structure that's code compliant and so forth, promotes safety. Purpose G is to provide sufficient space and appropriate locations for a variety of uses according to their respective environmental requirements in order to meet the needs of all New Jersey citizens. And again, this is a very unique property. The project that we're doing here is consistent with meeting the variety of uses and sufficient space, and we are meeting the environmental requirements by designing this so that it complies with the permit by rule. With regard to the negative criteria, these are very minor deviations from the zone plan, the zoning ordinance. So I don't feel that they're substantial in any way. And then from the public good, there will only be enhancements here. This is a dilapidated structure in its current location and its current position. It'll be upgraded with a brand new structure with compatible architecture, very tasteful architecture. And it's only really seen from inside the club anyway. It's not going to be seen from the road because it's so far away. So it's consistent with the master plan, and I believe that it's worthy of your approval. It meets the positive and the negative criteria, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
You have the positive aspects of the solar collectors, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, let me open this to the public. Would anybody from the public like to comment or question this application? If so, please go to the bottom of your screen and reactions, raise your hand. Anybody from the public at all? Seeing none, I will bring it back to the board. What is the pleasure of the board? Or are there any other comments or questions from the board?
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
Is there a second?
With the technical, with technical review.
Yes.
I'll second it.
Amy?
Okay, Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Ms. Crock,
yes,
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Fanslow,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert.
Yes. Thank you very much for showing up tonight, Mr. Wunderlich,
Thank you very much.
Mr.
Have a good
Hanson,
evening,
and
everyone.
Mr. Binkendorf.
Thank you, everybody. Have a nice evening.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Okay, last one, Maria Stupar, block 30501, lot 64, 407 Lakeside Boulevard. Current property, subject property is currently developed with a one-story dwelling, paved parking area, associated walkways and stairs, several retaining walls, a hot tub in the rear yard, and a boathouse and dock extending into the lake. The applicant is seeking approval for use of the boathouse as a guest room with a kitchen and bathroom.
Mr. Chairman, I'm just looking at Mr. Rushke's letter, and his letter says this application has been deemed incomplete.
I
For a
sent
public
out,
hearing.
yes, I apologize. I did send out the new one, onto the email for the updated one.
Yes, it is complete. I have a copy of May 5th, 2023.
I can
and
share it if we need to.
Complete.
Okay, I'm good with it.
Now,
All right.
this is
So,
the use-
so, Bill, this is another D
yeah, this is a
variance.
this is a D variance because it really is two-family use. They're proposing a kitchen. It is a separate residential structure that they want to use the boathouse for. So if that's the application, then this is a
Chairman, I
variance.
recuse myself on this, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Okay, is there somebody here representing Mrs. Stupar?
Yeah, right. Good evening, members. There's Maria Stupor, and I'm her husband, Tiberius Zoltan Stupor.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you
Yeah.
swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, nothing to.
And you are the property owners?
Correct.
And sir, your first name spelling, please?
Maria Stupar, Stupar.
Okay, and sir?
Yes, Tony Tiberio, Tiberio, Zoltan, Zoltan, last name Stupar.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. and Mrs. Stupar.
Yeah, I don't know speak that much English, but I try to do my best. Okay, so I have my service here. So maybe you guys have it in the papers.
Probably do.
Yeah, you should have all the pictures, the photos, everything. The house, I own the house since 2005. Okay, and that's what I bought. The pictures are there the way I bought their house. And I know there's been some false accusations there for a lot of things. They rent a house, rented a boathouse and all that stuff, which we never did. We never rented our boathouse. And only used it as a guest house. That's how we did.
Well, let's go to Mr. Rushke's comments.
Yes.
Technical review. The applicant must provide testimony for the proposed frequency of use of the boathouse as a guest house. The applicant should also verify the boathouse will be rented in the future, and or consideration should be given to deed restricting the boathouse for rental use. How often will you use it as a guest cottage, guest room?
Well, usually most of the summer, that's how we use it. Usually in the winter time, usually there's a storage area. That's what we usually do.
You have heat in it?
I'm sorry. Yes, he has it there. Yes, has some electric heat, just electric heat that was there before when I bought it with him.
And it'll be rented?
I'm sorry, I never rented it before.
Well, will it be rented?
Well, maybe we'll think about in the future.
Yeah, because they save it and I'm not work, so it needs money too.
If you authorize a kitchen in this place and it has heat and you have a deed restriction, that's just another job for Bill Donegan to undertake. And I think you want to be cautious about this, frankly.
Could we ask Mr. Donegan to give us a little history on this property to show us when this became a boathouse house instead of a true boat house? give us a little background on at what point this was turned into a cabin on stilts?
Well, basically, it was a conventional boathouse. And there's a record of a zoning permit and a building permit for it to be rebuilt back in 1988. And it was actually a certificate of it was like a CO. It was granted in 1991. So that project was completed. That it was a boathouse. As a matter of fact, the floor plans it showed the boat well still there, and the original configuration. It was at that time, so there would be no change. Exactly the same.
Bill.
There and it was turned in, it was floored over. I'm sorry. I'll try to speak slowly. It was floored over, and of course, sometime between then and now, there was a kind of a kitchen installed. Last year, when we did do a walkthrough, Mr. Honor had indicated the sink wasn't plumbed in at that time, and there were provisions for a bathroom in the back, although it was not finished. There were no permits that supported this work. Also, from the photographs and the tax record and the surveys, I believe the boathouse actually was expanded back into the land. Yeah, I mean, not out into the water, but back towards the house, at the approximate distance of what was shown on the survey as a roof overhang. So, I mean, these things would have required variances, and there's no record of any variance. Don't know, I don't know who did the work or whatnot, but it just needs to be legitimized or hopefully legitimized.
So in other words, we have no building permits that takes it from a boathouse to a structure, a house structure. Decked in for enlarged thing, and then we have all the issues of the dock all the way around this 51-foot, property. And now we want to use it as a house and possibly rent it. It needs to go back to being a boathouse, is what it needs to be.
Yeah.
It's not. It was never approved to be what it is now, much less condoned to what it is.
And what about 409 Lakeside Boulevard? How come they got approved? They illegally.
Don't know.
That application is not here, sir.
Yeah, I understand, but they have the same situations as we do.
We consider each one separately.
Okay.
Bill, there was no permits for any of this work on file that's occurred over.
No, as a matter of fact, this whole scenario started about a year ago, and I was working on it and doing my reviews between now and September last year. So I did pull out all the files and go through everything again, because I figured I want to try to be as accurate as I can. And I saw no permits regarding the boathouse after the reconstruction of the boathouse was CA'd in 91.
So there was no permits prior to that for any conversion to a house. There's nothing on file.
Nothing that I have been able to find on file, no.
Okay.
Okay. Shall we continue with Mr. Rushkey's report, sir? Proposed location of water and sewer service lines to the boathouse should be shown on the survey. Mr. Stupar?
Yes, I'm sorry.
The proposed location of the water and sewer service lines for the boathouse should be shown on the survey.
We don't have no lines connected to for the boathouse.
Okay, and the applicant is to confirm that no expansion of the existing boathouse structure is proposed at this time, nor are any modifications to the existing dock. What do you say to that?
I'm sorry, no, can you repeat that, please?
Do you have a copy of this letter from Mr. Rushkey?
Mr. Rush?
McDonald,
Yeah, I have yes, I have that, but
dated
we
May
need to know-
5th, 2023.
23, yes, I got the letter here. See, the problem is my dad was the owner of the house. I know he did something, he passed away. And eventually, you know, I was the one, then my wife took over the ownership of the house.
Okay,
How was the
How long
property?
have you owned the house? For how long have you owned the property?
The property has been owned since 2005.
Okay.
How is the property serviced? What type of water you have? Well water, city water?
We use lake water,
Lake water.
always been lake water.
In the paper, what is for sale, it say like cabin for entertainment, the boathouse.
Well, it was like a guest house when we it was
What
purchased
is-
in 2005, we purchased from Chris Edwards. My dad purchased the house from.
Oh, I get that, but that doesn't mean any of that was ever approved or to be converted to that. So there's no proof that building should have been converted from a boathouse to whatever it is now.
No
It's
permission.
always been like that, it's always been like,
But it's the floor,
Look at the picture.
is the
So it-
look at the picture, the floor is already there. What is supposed to be put in the boat
it
where
was-
the floor is there?
and then even at the survey, if you look at the survey, you gotta look at the survey here, it says that the survey says how it was, and it's certified right here, and it's stamped.
That doesn't have any.
we still have the problem of two residences on one property.
But we're not gonna put two residents on one property, we don't wanna.
Well,
put
but
two-
you have, if you're asking for the boathouse to be occupied and you
But
have
we don't
a
want,
house,
The boathouse
only-
needs to be a boathouse,
the
not,
boat, yeah, it's a guest house.
It's a guest house.
it needs to be a boathouse, again. It can't stay a cabin. It has no permission to do that. I don't care what that says.
Yeah, you see the pictures and everything for sale, the houses like that.
They never got permission to do that. No permission was ever granted by the town to build that at any time. Nothing. It's there illegally.
Illegal, so I purchased something illegal, that's very strange, in 2005, imagine that, 18 years ago.
There's no statute of limitations to that. It's wrong.
So you
it's
gotta
wrong.
look, maybe you gotta look at all the houses on the lake there to see all the,
Yeah, because my
Illegal,
neighbor
even the-
have it, and
even
he
409.
say,
Lakes are
for
good.
example, she say, she look at.
Your
Yeah.
application question, not everybody else's, not anybody on the west side, the east side, the other side of the lake. It's your application and it's illegal what's there.
Wow.
And what is the service over here to say
What is
for
it?
the town? Is the number is say like Edward
Surveyor.
Sesco,
A survey only looks at what is there. It doesn't have the legalities of how it got there.
Doesn't have the history of the property. It's a snapshot in time. When they
Yeah,
came to
that-
do the survey, that's what was there. That's all.
What about 409 Lakeside Boulevard, the same thing?
We're not talking about,
she
we're not
have the
talking
debt
about
and she
409.
say she do it, no permit. She
finished
say
her deck,
before.
her dock was finished, no permit, I got information, I got all the permits here, she had no permit for a fireplace,
And you
no
know,
permit
John.
for a lot of things, it's not fair, it can be
It's
double
not
standard.
fair.
Illegally connected.
Sir, we're here for your application.
Yeah, I
only.
understand,
Yeah,
but it's gotta be, cannot be double standard, you understand my question?
We don't have a double standard. We take
Well,
each
because if they
application.
gotta approve
on
all
its
that
own.
stuff, how come we, because of
Why-
false accusation from them, now we are.
Why she have a permit?
Let's
for
continue,
shooting,
let's
but it's not?
continue. Does anybody else from the board have any questions or comments?
Well, there's other things with the docks and everything else too. There's some other docks that were added as well.
The dock is there for years, what is it supposed to be?
Yeah,
Doesn't-
but if you look, now, let's say, look, did you look at photo 409, look at their
No,
dock.
we're not going to look at
They
409, sir.
I'm just saying, but it is.
We are
because-
not going to look at
I'm just saying,
409. We're here to
because we
discuss
got protected
your
by them, and they have
application
the
only.
Oh, God. Here we
They
go.
got worse than they will do.
Let's
Here we go.
open this to the public. Would anybody from the public like to comment or question this application? If so, go to the bottom of your screen and on reactions, raise your hand. Beth Meredith,
Yes.
you're muted. You're still muted. I can't hear you at all.
How's this?
That's much better. Would you
Okay.
please raise your right hand?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm number 409 Lakeside Boulevard that
Good.
they're hollering about.
Yes.
And I came before you with the same type of thing last November 15th, 2022, and presented my evidence after doing a lot of research. And the board passed my grandfather application. I'm grandfathered because I proved that my boathouse was built in 1924. And then in the 40s, it was converted to an apartment. So and I had my docks, okayed, and some stairways that were, not on my survey. So we just kind of wrapped everything up and I got it memorialized. So
Thank
that's
you very much.
Now I have a question, Beth. What about 1992? That's your dock.
Mr. Stupar, you're not recognized yet. Colleen Lyons, you are next.
Hey,
Could I ask a question of Ms. Meredith?
Excuse me, I have a lot more to say if
Yeah,
I
go
may.
ahead. Go ahead.
I need to give you some background as to why this all happened. If you'll just bear with me for a minute, I think it's something you'll be very interested in, you need to know before you make your decision. Last year on June 30th, there was an environmental incident at Stupar's house and their grinder pump overflowed. My husband was fixing the fence because we have little 50-foot, properties here. And he was down there fixing the fence, which is on the property line. And he was standing in a stream of effluent. And so we sent Mr. Stupar a text and we said, your grinder pump is overflowing. And he said, I just got a new one. It can't be that. And I said, would you like us to call the sewer? Yes, please. We did. They were over there very quickly and determined that the grinder pump was fine, but there was a disconnect with some pipe in there that was the responsibility of the Stupars, not the town. So they went back and forth. It's the town, it's them, it's town. Meanwhile, there's no sewer system over there. So then 4th of July happens. Nobody fixes anything. The sewer's broken. There's a family of 4 living in there, right? So occasionally it runs over. And that weekend is 4th of July weekend. And so there's a party, the 1st, the 2nd. There's like 4 days full of solid parties. And all these people coming and going and late at night and drinking and parking. And it was insane. And my husband and I are like, the thing isn't overflowing. Where is the effluent from the boathouse bathroom going? We couldn't figure it out because, there is a bathroom in the boathouse because I have seen it, okay? And I know when they put it in, and I have photographic evidence that I brought tonight with me to show you what the boathouse looked like when they bought it and what it looked like when they put the addition on the back. And I also have photographic evidence of the pipe going down out of the back of the bathroom there, going right into the lake, right into the ground, right next to the lake. So I'm happy to show you all this. In fact, Amy
Water, what do you think?
What do you think, Beth?
Andre, my pool.
Amy can pull up these if you would like. I'll leave it to you if you would like me to show these.
You want to show the picture of you have to take a picture of my wife and the baby in a
If we
jacuzzi?
need them, we'll come
I'm
back. to
sorry,
you.
I can't
Yeah.
hear with them yelling.
Yeah.
If
What a
we
picture when I
need
call
the-
them on the porch, taking pictures.
You may
Come on.
have to mute them.
Amy and Danielle, would you please mute the Stupars?
Mr. Haggerty, I would like to see the evidence. Where was
I
this?
would like to see the photograph. I would like to see what
Okay.
happened with this photograph.
Amy
Nobody
has,
see it.
Amy has all the photographs. So I will.
I
tell-
do. What would you like to start with?
Photograph 1, Amy.
Okay. Bear with me. I'm sorry.
Which one?
Just go, which one? Go down.
Question, Mrs. Meredith, where was the sewer overflowing to? Onto your property
That's
or?
when, because of the way the land is, it came from, because it's right on the side of their property, very close to my line. And it overflowed and it came under our fence and went down into the lake.
It's
How long was this going on for?
35 feet from my well, my drinking well.
It's coming. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thanks, Amy.
All right, I'll go back to
Mrs. Meredith, how long have you lived in your house? How long have you lived there?
We bought the house in 1988.
35 years.
Now, was that boathouse a boathouse then? What was it? What was the condition of that boathouse?
When we bought it, it always had a kitchen and a bathroom in it, and it's been that way since the 40s.
Our boathouse.
Okay.
Oh, your
what-
boat, yeah.
No, we're talking their boathouse, not yours.
Their boathouse was an actual boathouse. You drove the boat in.
When we bought our house in 1988, that house, there was you could drive a boat in that boathouse, okay?
Okay, and that was in 1988.
That was in 1988. What we're looking at here is my daughter's softball team party at the house. And you can see the blue door all the way to the right. And behind that door is, there's just an overhang there. I have a better picture, but there's a reason why I wanted to show you this. And it's because that's Stupar's boat. And you can see the numbers there, that's their boat.
This was
Okay,
the summer of 2005, the first year that they moved in.
and you can see on the survey that it says overhang. Roof overhang, RO. Okay, if you want to put in 1A, Amy. I have a little bit better picture of it. Three.
Can Amy hear us?
Amy?
Oh, did she?
I don't even see her.
No, I think she's having a lot of trouble with that laptop.
Mrs. Meredith, you don't have the pictures, but I mean, I guess you can't share the pictures with us.
Yeah, I can. I can try. I'm not very good at this. Let me just see if I can. All I have to do is bring them up on the screen.
Share screen. Yes, so Danielle says, tell me they're trying to reconnect.
Okay.
So, yeah, just go to the bottom and share screen.
Okay, and I have to find them in my,
Yeah.
my. See. Okay, let's see. Which one am I looking for? I could try to hold them up.
Can we hold them up?
Well, you can try. I don't know that that's going to work very well.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, just give
Let
it
me
a try.
shot.
We don't need clarity, we need an image.
Okay. Hold on, let me get rid of this. Okay, okay, let's see if you can see this.
I apologize. I'm back up now.
Pull it back a little bit.
There.
Amy, can you put her pictures, Amy?
Say we're trying.
Yeah, we're trying. As soon as I do it, it boots us. So I'm going to try to do it again. What part are you at?
1A.
We saw 1A. We're ready to see the next photo.
Okay, so put photo 3. That's the one where you see the pipe.
Okay.
I'm gonna mark these sequentially. You gave us photo 1, a 2005 photograph showing the boathouse in the background, the applicant's boathouse.
They may possibly be doing something with our server at work. Because one of the inspectors called me after hours. He was having problems faxing, so I'm wondering if they're doing something with the server at work because we can't get back into the computer.
Oh,
Show the picture.
We're trying.
Are you VPN'd into the work
Yes.
computer?
Yep.
All right, because I don't have any notification from Quick Text that they're doing any work. So we'll look into that, but I think
Let me show
it
you
may
this
be that.
next one, okay?
Well, yeah, this is.
Yeah, we can't
difficult.
really see that, Mrs. Meredith.
This is
Can't
really
see it?
difficult.
Okay, okay.
Working
It's a
well.
picture of, taken from my other neighbor, Carbone's, because where this pipe comes out is about 3 feet
Okay.
from their swimming
Okay.
area.
Okay, yeah, we're not really concerned about the pipes or the health effect. What we're concerned about is the boathouse. You have a picture in 2005 showing the boathouse. It had a boat well. Somehow it changed from 2005 to what it is today.
I think he
Tell us
said,
about that.
Bill, I think he said 1988, Mr. Meredith, it was a boathouse. When you bought the house, that was a boathouse in
It
88.
was a boathouse that you could pull in the
Yes.
front.
Okay, and then in 2005, in 2005 was the, whoa. In 2005, was the boat well still there?
No,
No.
Okay,
no.
all right. And what happened to the boathouse from 2005 up to the current time?
The previous owner, Sal Falgiano, put a big deck in and filled in the boathouse floor.
And that was prior to 2005.
Cars bought it with the deck on there. Pardon me?
In 1988, it was a boathouse.
Yes.
Okay.
And we don't find any permits for any of that. Okay.
No, I think in their file, I only saw one permit, which was open, and that was for the electric of the sewer.
They installed a kitchen and a bathroom in this boathouse.
When?
On the back of the boathouse, they put an addition on. There was an overhang. And in that addition, they installed a shower, a sink, and a toilet. They had running water in the boathouse, and the sewage, unfortunately, we have found out just recently, we know that the sewage wasn't hooked up to the septic system. It appears that the sewage was going directly into the lake.
And we didn't know that all these years. I think this bathroom's been in there 8 years. I've-
We never knew that the sewage was going in the lake.
We'll
We
never go
always,
Okay, yeah, we're really, we're concerned, obviously, and certainly Colleen Lyons is about the effect on the lake. But we're concerned about what happened with this boathouse, with these additions, and when they were constructed without permitting. That's really our focus.
Okay, so I can tell you when the enclosure happened in the back. And I can tell you, when I don't know the exact date that the floor went in, but I know it was before they bought it. They bought it with the deck on there.
When did the back get enclosed? What year or what date?
2014.
No, that's not right. Hold on. Here's the picture. Well, we know the bathroom was in there in 2014. I'm not sure if they enclosed it and then put the bathroom in right away. I honestly don't remember. And the picture that I have isn't dated that would tell me, but this one was dated, with the kids and his boat. that it was definitely purchased in '05 with an overhang.
Okay, overhang and the dock in place when he poured it.
That's right.
That's right.
So he added the bathrooms, he finished out the inside, and he also finished out the kitchen with the bathroom and all the plumbing and
That's
associated.
right.
That's correct.
That's right.
Okay,
I
so
never
that's-
saw a kitchen. All I ever saw was a sink. I think there was a stove in there.
When
The
did
water,
when did the ceiling and all that other stuff begin to get in to make it into like a house? I mean, usually.
Okay, so originally, when it was a boathouse, there was an observation deck on the top with stairs. Where the stairs went up was where the overhang is. That used to be the stairway. You'd go up and you could walk on top. It was a flat roof on the boathouse. And we have pictures of that too, if you need it. I don't have it handy, but I have it in my file. And then Sal tore that off,
previous owner.
and he put like, you know, the
Peak.
peaked roof with skylights on it, and took the stairway away, and then there was just an overhang. And that's when he sold it.
The inside didn't have a kitchen
No.
or a bathroom.
No, it was
Yeah.
just,
Did it
you
have
know.
any finish, like, you know, drywall, anything inside of it, like it shows now? Any finishes like the inside of a house?
Yeah,
Did
it had drywall up on it. Yeah, yeah. It was a room.
Yeah, they just made a room, but there was no water, no facilities whatsoever in there.
So it's a multitude of missteps, I see.
So
Yeah.
the owners before Stupars were the ones that really took, you know, turned things upside down there. They took it
They
from a
did.
boathouse and made it
then,
into that.
Well, it sounds like Stupar, according to their testimony, put the kitchen in, put the bathroom in, and that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
I
they
they
took
made-
it,
they
they
put
took
the
it a little
addition.
further.
They put
Yeah.
the addition on.
What
in the
about,
addition.
they do any work with the docks as well around the property?
They put a lot of pavers all over the place, but
No.
I don't think so.
They didn't
Okay.
change.
Okay. Any other questions for the Merediths?
Nope.
Okay, then, thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. Meredith.
Sure.
And I'm gonna call on Colleen Lyons. Colleen,
Yes.
raise your
Please
right
raise your right
hand.
hand. Okay. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And you're speaking on behalf of the Lake Hopatcong Commission.
Correct. So the Lake Hopatcong Commission reviews applications within 200 feet of the lake for their impact on water quality. You know, from the emails that I received from the former administrator, also mentioned that there was a hookup in the boathouse that drained directly to the lake. So, you know, whether or not that's relevant.
No, that never happened, never happened. We use lake water.
They use a lake water.
Why do you think? I do-
Please,
Can you
Amy
mute them
and
for a minute?
Danielle,
Can you mute
please
them again
mute
for
the
a minute?
Stupars.
Yes.
Thank you.
The applicant has noted that they use lake water. DEP does not allow that. So, you know, they would not allow you to use lake water for your home. There are some instances where that still occurs around the lake, but according to DEP, that's no longer allowable. The commission is obviously aware of the incident last year, but since that's not under the purview of the land use board, I won't comment on that. But the Sussex County Health Department did issue a notice of violation. I don't know if there were any requirements associated with that and whether the homeowner has met those requirements. The applicant is requesting 10 variances, which may indicate an overuse of this property. The commission has commented that on several others, so it's not just this one. Sorry, hold on, just reviewing my notes. Oh, sorry, according to the DEP, Division of Land Use Regulation, the applicant must meet the requirements of section 12.5 of the NJAC 713 Flood Hazard Area Control Act rules. Specifically, that states that to convert a building located in a floodway into a single-family home, duplex, multi-residence building, or critical building, and the requirements of section 12.5 must also be satisfied. The purpose of these two sections is to prevent the creation of a livable structure in the floodway. This is also the intent of municipal ordinance 242-30D. Therefore, the commission will recommend that the board confirm that there will be no living or sleeping accommodations, which we know that is the intent of the applicant, which would require also DEP approval. So I imagine that that was also not received by the applicants.
Thank
That's all
you
I
very
have.
much, Pauline.
Okay.
Is there anyone else? Anybody else from the public? Kathy?
Hi, my name is Kathy Ludwig.
I'm sorry, I did get one picture. I did get one picture.
Kathy, can you be viewed?
No, I can't.
Okay,
Please
can you
raise your
raise-
right hand.
You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Your last name, please.
Ludwig, Ludwig.
Where do you live?
413A Lakeside Boulevard.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Kathy.
I would very much be in favor of having that building returned to a boathouse. Currently, there are frequently loud parties held on that property, lots of noise, lots of firecrackers over the weekend, issues with parking, even in my private parking spaces. I know you folks aren't terribly concerned about the sewerage right now, but I am, because there are only two properties in between me and the Stupars. So I would be very much in favor of it becoming a boathouse again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Robert Whitehead, you are next.
Please raise your right hand, Mr. Whitehead. You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
And where do you reside, Mr. Whitehead?
401 Lakeside Boulevard.
Go ahead.
Little history. My wife and I purchased our property in 2006. It was in serious disrepair, not only from being left vacant for many years, but the overgrowth along the lakeside. It looked like a jungle, from the bulkhead crumbling to the house not having a foundation under the back 2.5-story section. I immediately went to the town and met with the building and zoning officials to discuss what permits needed to be pulled, as I wanted to conform with the town and state requirements. Being lakefront, the requirements are very specific. I was also instructed to go to the state park at that time to obtain necessary permits and guidelines before I attempted any renovations within, I think it was either 100, 150, maybe 200 feet of the lake, which I did. All parties that I met with were more than helpful and informative. I sadly had to completely rebuild my house and bulkhead. Then when I recovered financially from that, I was ready to rebuild my dilapidated boathouse. The zoning official informed me that the outermost corner of my boathouse dock was infringing upon my neighbor's water rights by 1 foot. And if I were to do any improvements to that structure at all, I would have to move the entire structure 10 feet from its current location, and that I could not make any changes to its length, width, or height of that structure. And it also had to be approved by the state as well, which of course I did to be in compliance. Most of us value this lake as a precious resource and want it to continue for generations to come. I simply do not agree with residents knowingly making illegal renovations and asking for forgiveness and being allowed to keep and enjoy them at the expense of we, the majority who follow the rules. More so, where's the waste and wastewater going? In our lake? How wrong can that be? It was built against code, therefore it's probably plumbed against code. And hearing all the evidence, I don't feel like these renovations, especially to a boathouse, should be allowed to remain. Remove the renovations and file for the necessary permits and do it all legally according to state and town regulations. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Mr. and Mrs. Carbone. You're muted, sir. You're muted.
Muted.
Oop. You're still muted.
Okay.
There you
Hello?
go.
Go raise your right hand, please.
You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Your name, sir?
Dimitro Carbone. And that's 405 Lakeside Boulevard.
Okay.
So my biggest concern, which which Lynn from the water quality has already said, because they've been notified, is the waste going into the lake. I have 3 young kids. The pipe literally is 8 feet from my beach sand where my kids learned how to swim. And the fact that this was known from last January, and I believe safety with the environment's got to be a red line with the town, and they were put on notice, and nothing's kind of been done since then. And what I mean nothing's been done is the structure that was built with no permits still exists. And I understand there's a process, but when you do something illegally and you start infringing on public safety as far as health goes, that's got to be a red line where we got to cut through the red tape and go back to square one, because to their own devices, they allowed that to happen. And that's got to be not okay. And it's unfortunate that I didn't know this, and my whole family's been swimming literally in waste for years. So hopefully the town can correct this.
Thank you very much, Mr. Carbone.
Thank you.
Kathy, you are next. You're muted. Okay, raise your right hand, please.
I
Can you
already
hear us? Okay, you're done then. Thank you.
Continue. Oop. Okay. is
She
there
spoke,
anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, she spoke already. Yeah.
Anybody else from the public who wants to question or comment on this application? If so, please go to the bottom of your screen and reactions, raise your hand. Okay, Amy and Danielle, please unmute the Stupars.
Are they able to share the pictures or no? They can't. Danielle or Amy can't.
No. Mrs. Stupar, you are muted. Unmute yourself and then you can speak.
I'll say something. I have the property 3 years ago because my father-in-law passed away. And that is the first owner. I don't know about nothing like before. And the other is like Mr. Logan, ¿cómo se llama él?
Dimitri?
No.
Bill.
Bill.
Donovan.
Bill doesn't, him coming here and seeing everything inside, and he knows so like something is in the water or something like
We
that,
will
or
never
the
do that.
bathroom
You
there
know,
or
the
something
waste-
like that.
We're using lake water.
You
Imagine-
you coming
you
here
have to
and you
understand.
say,
You guys have to understand.
you see, with the other,
The board
you
members have
remember
to
and
understand.
open the door and everything.
Yeah, Bill, you came to our house, you chucked everything on the board house, everything was open for you. We will never put waste in the lake. That's the last thing. I swim there, my kids swim there. We got the water from there, from the lake. I will never.
And a lot
That's the last-
of people use the lake water for use it to
To shower
Shower
and wash
everything.
their hands and everything. Yes, we got it, but I will never. That's the last thing we will ever do. Put waste in the lake. Just look at,
You
just go to
say
Byron
my-
Cove and see what's going on with the waste that's going there.
Oh, well, right now, this board isn't dealing with the waste
I
in the
understand.
lake.
I'm
We're
just saying
not,
about
we're
the
not the
lake.
health department.
Here's,
Yeah, I
here's what we're
understand.
dealing
Zoning
with.
issues. That's
but
what
you
the
see-
application is for.
We understand, you guys.
And my connection is in the front to the boat is the connection, the water connection for my house. I'm not like,
Yeah,
you
right,
know,
yeah,
I'm
for
not
the lake.
stupid like you said, that water for drink.
Yeah,
And
wastewater, no,
the-
we will never, that's the last thing we would do. We love the lake, we enjoy the lake, we want it to be as clean as possible. We love the water here. You know, that's why I bought this house, we bought this house, you know. When my dad bought in 2005, because we enjoyed the,
Okay, what is the pleasure of the board?
Well, I think we need to restore it to being a boathouse, period. No permits, no construction activity, except illegal activity. It needs to go back to be a boathouse.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Yeah,
I would second that motion.
we're not an enforcement board, so the vote of the board would be either to approve the variance relief or deny it. It's up to the code enforcement official and the construction official in terms of violations of not getting, if this is the case, construction permits, that kind of thing. This board is not an enforcement board. So our task is to either approve, disapprove, or approve with modifications this application.
All right. What I would like is a positive motion to approve, and we can either pass it or not pass it.
I don't think anybody wants to make that motion.
I will make a
You
motion.
can have an application to deny, and any yes vote is to deny the application.
I'll make
If
an
we don't have a
application.
vote-
I'll make an application to deny.
Okay, with an application to deny, so the applicant understands and the public understands, there's a motion to deny your application. If there are affirmative votes, that means the board members are voting to deny the application. Okay?
Did we have a second?
I'll second
John
it.
Taylor made the motion, Bob Ray second.
So if you vote yes,
It's
You're
to deny.
disapproving the application.
You're denying it.
to be clear,
Yes. Yes.
Yo le voy a preguntar.
Okay, Mr. Duncan,
yes,
Mrs. Crock,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Okay,
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Fanso,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, your application for variance approval is denied. Any action that might be taken in terms of the improvements is not within the jurisdiction of this board. That discussion should take place within the construction and zoning offices.
Okay, and what happened with the floor and everything?
At the moment, nothing happens.
Okay,
Not until Mr. Donegan and or Mr.
O'Connor,
O'Connell tell you to do something.
Okay,
You are not approved, you are not approved to have occupants in the boathouse. You
okay.
understand that? You're not approved to have people stay there.
yeah, nobody
Not
wants to.
approved for a kitchen and bathroom.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing finished there anyway, so you guys can come anytime. You guys are welcome, to come by and check it out
Yes.
if you would like.
Yes.
How many, you guys you like to come and you see what's going on
You
here?
guys can come by this
inside
weekend
and everything.
if you guys want to see, look around. We would like you guys to come by, please.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Alan, I think it's also important to note that any prospective occupancy of that facility, if there were to be any rentals, would be subject to the Borough Code 189, the short-term rental property
Yes.
ordinance. So
Right.
that needs to be
Right.
understood as well. But it first starts with they are not to occupy the boathouse with people.
No, yeah, we're not gonna occupy, yes.
Thank you, Dave.
So what we're saying is they're not allowed to use it in any capacity as far as what.
Any
nobody can sleep
residential
there?
use.
Okay.
It's only for
allowed
tenants,
to
right?
use it
It's
as a
okay to go inside to putting things for, you
From
know,
outside, the furniture, they usually when it rains, when a storm comes, put the furniture.
it's
inside.
like a storage.
It's a storage area. That's how we use it most of the times. Until
for
we get the
anything.
right permits.
couldn't be used for anything.
I mean, it should be a boathouse. That's what it was. I mean,
Well, I mean, I know.
Yeah, but the boat is never allowed putting
what it
in
should be. I
in
mean,
the floor. What is putting the
understand.
floor in
We
the
bought
boat inside?
Yeah, we bought it like that in 2000, I wish I would know that before when I bought it, that, it had all these problems, but.
Bill, I think we should end the conversation, Bill.
I think.
Bill,
I
do you
think,
have a report
We
for
voted
us?
on the application and that's it. We should move on.
okay.
No zoning report for this evening.
Okay, discussion. I would like to schedule a special meeting for August 29th
August 29th.
to discuss only the proposals we have received for multiple family dwellings. It would be a planning session, not a zoning session. So I would like somebody to make that motion for
Now, at an open
August
session,
29th.
This an executive meeting or an open meeting?
No, it'd be an open meeting, virtual. And it will be advertised by Amy as such.
So what's the
Like to make
agenda specifically, Alan?
The agenda will be a discussion of the proposals for multifamily dwellings within the borough. We've been receiving, we've been having some work sessions where people propose to put in multifamily dwellings. And some are in zones which are approved for it, and others are in zones which are approved only for single family. So I would like to have a session where we discuss it and just hash it out and see how people feel about it.
I think the zone dictates what they can do there. That's why we have zoning codes.
Yeah, but we've changed zoning before.
So you want to work towards changing our statutes?
No, not necessarily.
Well, then it's a zoning issue.
No, it's not
I'm just
zoning.
trying to understand
it's
what we're
planning.
going to attempt to do, because if it's a public hearing type meeting, you know, I just need to know where we're trying to get to.
It's a planning session. We've done very little in terms of planning.
Right.
We do have the area in need of redevelopment. But most of the proposals that we have had work sessions on have been outside of that area.
In R1 zones.
Yes.
I mean, that's why
Some
that's-
is an R1 and some is not.
Oh,
At the last meeting, we had a work session that dealt with the old gas station on the across the River Styx Bridge, which was out of the area of in need of redevelopment.
it's just something we haven't approached before with multiple possible stories and multiple units that we've just never dealt with as a town before. And it's just
Right.
talking about the approach to this and how we're gonna view it. Whether it, you know, it's future planning. It's, you know, when we were on the planning board, we looked at the redevelopment zone, what kind of buildings we could use. This is a building type we really haven't explored too much of, but it seems like it's become relevant in most of the towns around us. And it's gonna be coming to us too, and how do we approach it, I think is what Alan's trying to get at. You know, it's high density housing. Or higher density housing.
I'm not in favor of that. I mean, if it's an R1, it's an R1. Cut and dry.
Well, I disagree with that.
I mean, who does it benefit? It benefits one person, the developer.
It might benefit other people. The reason that I would like this to be an open meeting is to hear what the public has to say also.
I mean, years ago, we were two boards. We were a planning board, we were a zoning board. We had specific planning meetings to discuss the development of the town going forward, not just the redevelopment zone. And we had many different discussions during that period, from all different thoughts. It's a, you know, put your 2 cents in and see what you get. The whole thing is how do we develop our town so it goes into the future correctly?
I just
know.
think you're opening up a box. I don't think we know. And everybody that has a small lot is gonna say, well, I want to build a 2-family here. Why can't I do it? He did it, you know? I don't know.
Well, your question is whether it's worthy of having a special meeting to discuss it rather than trying to debate it tonight.
Right.
I think it's always good, in my opinion, to discuss planning. So if it's planning, for the sake of planning, we gotta be careful that we don't give the impression we're prejudging anything. And so that's a bad impression. But if it's how we can do good planning, affect our master plan and the statutes that we have that address that, then I think that's an important issue that we should do.
And we should talk to John Rushkey a little bit about that, because, you know, years ago, we were getting a planner, we were talking about all those avenues. And when we went into one board, we talked about having separate planning meetings at some time, so we kept the momentum up with the planning aspect of our town. So maybe not limited to one topic, Mayor, but limited to let John talk about some other planning discussions in the town as well. You know,
Well, when you have the work sessions are good, but you have to make sure that you listen carefully to what our planner said and also our attorney. You don't want to step in a trap or bear trap and give the appearance of something that may or may not be accurate. That's all I'm saying.
no, I mean, and right now our redevelopment is down on Lakeside, that whole area now, and to see some development positive down there.
Well, that's
would be good.
statutorial. That's statutorial. That's we're following some certain guidelines that are state and federal guidelines to do that. And John's very adept at that. So that area in need development and area in need of rehabilitation are very different, I think, than what Alan's trying to do. Alan's trying to get a handle on the direction that our general plan should, if I'm reading you right, Alan,
Yes,
right?
yes, that is correct.
Yeah, area in need development is very specific, Bob, very specific. You're working within a certain box, but what we talk about the future that we want our master plan to take is something very different, and probably benefit us to do that. But be careful, you make sure you stay in the right lane.
Understood.
Okay,
Does somebody want to make that motion for me?
I will.
I'll second it.
Amy?
Alan, one question. Have you talked to John Rushkey about that date and his availability? Because we would want him to be prepared to
No, I haven't.
guide the discussion.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it without John, Alan. So make sure John is available for whatever the date is. That's
Sure.
important.
Okay, let's start with the date of August 29th, and I will reach out to John.
Sounds good.
If necessary, we'll change the date.
And we could always bring in another professional if we think it's necessary too.
Right.
But he knows the town. He'd be the guy.
Amy?
Okay. Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Ms. Crock,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Fanslow,
Yes.
Mayor Francis,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert.
Al?
You have to think about it and answer it. You have to think about that, Alan.
Must be
Oh,
a yes.
I didn't even hear her call me. Yes. Okay, thank you. There are no resolutions, there's no correspondence, no escrow refunds, no bills. I will
Yay.
now open the meeting to the public. Would anybody from the public like to address the board on any issue at all? If so, please go to the bottom of your screen. In reactions, raise your hand. Rachel, is it possible for us to see you?
Yep, give me 1 second.
Thank you.
No problem.
Bill,
Did you have a question or what's your?
Just a question.
oh, okay, go ahead.
All right. I wanted to know what I guess the polling result was as to whether or not these meetings were going to be brought back to in person. I wasn't sure if that should have been done publicly on the open meeting or if a motion needed to be made, because when the council and mayor went back in person, they had to make a motion during the meeting and then had that voted on publicly on the record. So
Well, I told the board and I included the professionals since they are affected as well. And the vote was to stay virtual. If we ever decide to go back in public, we will have a motion and we will do it the proper way.
Okay, so shouldn't it have been done the proper way the first time?
Well, it was done the proper way. The mayor asked me to poll the board. I polled the board and I gave you the results.
What were the
Overwhelmingly, we
Right.
are saying virtual.
No, I
During the
understand.
Yeah, during the COVID emergency, it was set up in accordance with the dictates of that in terms of virtual meetings. So we just continued in that format. If we would discontinue from that format, then there should be a vote taken to discontinue that format.
Okay, and then last I checked, just for clarification, the COVID emergency is open, which is why all meetings are back in person. So
No, this meeting isn't
No.
back. We're
Yeah, not all
still
meetings.
virtual. I
Mhm.
checked with our attorney, and as long as we meet the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act, we are entitled to stay virtual.
Right, so the business needs to be conducted in public. So the poll you took was not done publicly, is my question. So that needs to be done on the record, correct?
Well,
Bill, what say you?
we were just continuing if we took action to discontinue, then we would have that in public. Right now, we're just continuing in the same format that we followed. So there's no change. If there would be a change, we certainly would have that brought before the board and formally voted upon, but there was no impetus to advocate a change. So that's why we're where we are.
Got
Okay.
it. All right, that was it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Mhm.
Anybody else? If anybody else would like to address the board on any issue at all, please go to the bottom of your screen and in reactions, raise your hand. Saying none, I'll bring it back to the board. Is there any old business? New business? Judy?
Yes, I have a comment, Alan. I appreciate the fact that as the chairperson and in a leadership role of this board, you're making some attempts to get us back to do some planning work, and that's always a good thing. It's never a bad thing. So I don't know if people understand or appreciate the work that the board does during the meetings or before the meetings, the people going to visit sites. And so in a leadership role, I understand that you have sometimes not an easy job to do, and people need to understand and respect that a little bit more than I think they do. So that being said, whether we agree or not, I think it's very important that people understand how a board works and take heed what our legal counsel tells us, because they're the ones that keep us out of trouble. So thank you, Bill. But those are my comments, and I think it's about time we get back to doing some planning. So thank you for
very
that.
much, Mr. Mayor. Judy?
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Great seeing you. Bob.
Night.
Right.
Nice seeing you, Judy.
You, I didn't meet yet.